Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. This is a companion podcast to the Team Bus, where we discuss all the stuff that didn't make it into the main Team Bus episode and anything else we feel like talking about. You want to start with some cycling talk? Did you get a chance to catch up with the other Belgian things happening?
Yeah, I watched most of the Super 8 and then way less of the other one. I only really saw the last like 5K of the other one.
Same here. So let's just start there. We're talking about the Kampioenschap van Vlaanderen, the Vlaanderen Championships, won by Lidl Trek's Jonathan Milan. Another guy that's just consistently been getting wins throughout this entire season. And here he was going up against recent winner Tim Merlier. No, but no Jasper Philipsen. So we got to see two of the big three basically duking it out. And honestly, with 1.5 Ks to go, I looked and Tim Merlier was in like 50th position. Like he managed second or did he get second or third?
Third.
Right. Which is pretty amazing considering he was in 50th position at 1.5K to go. But like, dude, come on, you got to be
in like the closing like 50 meters, he was out of position. He knew he wasn't going to win that race.
He's just like there's just like two versions of Tim Merlier. There's grossly out of position Tim Merlier who doesn't stand a chance, and then there's in position Tim Merlier who is 100% going to win.
So, but I want to give Mads the credit that's due because he is able to sustain these really long. Milan, these really long, sustained high speed sprints. It really wasn't about his lead out. It wasn't about power. It was about top speed, and he is very good at sustaining that top speed really hard and long into these longer sprints. And Milan is a short burst guy. Milan is a power guy, and I think, and I also think that once once Merlier was out of position, that the effort wasn't as high as it was for Milan, in my opinion. And I don't want to say that and take away from how good of a sprint it was.
No, I totally get what you're talking
Milan.
about. When even from the helicopter shot, you can see their body language,
yes.
And you can see somehow in the way Merlier is riding that he does not have it. Poor Dylan Groenewegen gets pipped at the line by Jonathan Milan.
Yeah.
I would have been so happy for him to win that race, but oh well. At least he's still up there and fighting for wins, still relevant, absolutely. still a part of the conversation, unlike some of those guys from back then, unlike your Caleb Ewens and your Fabio Jakobsens that were, all racing against Groenewegen back in his heyday. They're all gone. He's still there.
Yeah, this is true. And still competing. He had a good had a good shot. He just doesn't have that same stop. That the top speed that Milan has is just absolutely unbelievable.
Absolutely. I mean, Milan's a full step ahead of him as far as that is concerned. Well, it was Milan's 9th win this season, the 25th of his career. He's a young man. He's not notching a lot of wins. The other race was the Super 8 Classic, which I learned is named after the Super 8 beer.
Yes.
Which is now called Primus. But did you see the picture that I put in the notes?
I did.
How I want that glass. That is the glass that I want in my collection badly.
It's pretty badass. I'd like that bottle in my.
The bottle looks amazing too with the white. I mean, it's like almost the rainbow jersey, but it's very clearly the Belgian stripes. It's love it.
It's the Belgian flag and the Belgian blue all in one.
And we had a whole bunch of hitters in this race. Wout van Aert, Laporte, Matty Brennan, all for Visma. You had Arnaud Delis, you had Jasper Philipsen, Michael Matthews, Wellens, Milan, Biniam Girmay. I mean,
Yeah, it was a lineup,
Nice,
and
nice
and
field
I
right
will
here.
say that of this is probably outside of the World Championship, the TTS. This is my favorite race this week by far. Like I enjoyed
For
this
sure.
race, and I watched the most of this race too.
Hmm, hmm.
I want to make a point because I'm sure we're not going to talk about him past this, but I want to throw it out there and say, Christophe Laporte's finally, after basically a year off, is his form. It sucks that it's happening, in late September, but finally it looks like his form is coming back.
Well, let's hope it's like good form that will carry him into the
Yes,
off season where
that's what
he
I'm
can have a
hoping.
strong off season. He's got a foundation that he can build upon
Yes,
in the off season, and come springtime, he's a workhorse.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's ready to put in the fucking miles on the front
But
for.
it was really nice to see him doing some work, being on the front, and I mean him and Wout just buried themselves for Matty Brennan.
Mhm.
Um,
Um,
Wout Wout too. Obviously we'll get to who wins, but Wout was another one that in a in a Belgian race, you know, burying himself for the Brit is controversial in and of itself. But it just goes to show that, like, man, I definitely that team has a different way about it than UAE as
yeah,
being the
they are all for one. They're all for
yeah.
one, man.
It's a
That team.
very very different feel watching that team race versus watching UAE race. UAE wins a lot, but it just the cohesion that Visma has seems to be so much better than UAE.
Yeah. So in this race, we had some a lot of breakaway action, like through 50 kilometers to go down into like 20 kilometers to go. There's breakaways, groups popping off the front, but a group finally gets established with like 12, 15K to go. They're ahead by like 40 seconds, and you've got in this group you got uh, Trentine and Marco Haller from Tudor. You got um, Quiato, Ben Turner, and Artem Schmidt from Ineos. You've got Visma in there with Wout and Matty Brennan. Astana's got Ballerini and Tunison. Lotto's got DeLee and Bergamos. Johan, and then some individual guys, Johannesson, Kenton Hermans, Jordi Mayus, and Riley Sheehan. So all kinds of names, possibilities. You got a bunch of teams with two guys. You got some freelancers. Like I'm watching this like, wow, I'm so stoked for this, and I write my notes. I would love to see DeLee, Brennan, and Mayus sprinting head to head.
That's
Little,
crazy.
little foreshadowing for you, right? Like, so strange little crash with 2.7 Ks to go. Ballerini is like right up on the edge of like a curb. Um, not just trying to hold his position, it looked like behind his teammate, and all of a sudden he's just down and out, gone.
And watching Wout must have seen it like out of his periphery because he
Mhm.
like he like looked back in that moment, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wout is pushing a huge pace in like the closing kilometer. Um, and into 2 kilometers to go, you look at the front or close to the front, and you've got Brennan, DeLee, and Mayus just all locked together. Like they know exactly who they need to be paying attention to, and they're right there together. Um,
I thought it was interesting too. Prior to this, obviously they're in like a what like 15 to 20 rider group up towards the front, and Phillipson is in the peloton, and he just
yeah.
dude he did everything in his power to try to get that peloton to work and
Hmm.
close that gap, and he just like, and at one point he literally jumps off the front and is just like, you guys are going too slow, like we need to up this pace right now, and takes two or three riders with him, but they can't ever get it going enough to be able to catch that group. So you know that it's going to come down to this bigger group. And you're right, you had some major hitters in there, including Brennan, who looked, considering how much work Wout had done. I mean, he's basically shepherded to the end without having to do a damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, the
And
possibilities were tantalizing
oh yeah,
going into the finish. and then it's just like a intricate, exciting sprint finish. Uh, as I recall, DeLee gets a gap and makes a move, and Brennan is able to close onto his wheel.
Yes.
And then just as Brennan is closing to DeLee, Jordy Mayus is launching his attack, and gets I think he gets basically beside DeLee, with Brennan kind of boxed out. So, but then Brennan looks left, finds a hole to the left, and makes his move and comes pretty strong. But DeLee is able to pull just ahead of Mayus, and he realizes as he's crossed the line, he can see it. Looked from the angle we were looking at, it looked like photo finish for sure.
Yes, but it wasn't.
But you saw him throw his arm up, and then if you see any other angle of the finish, you're like, oh yeah, he was like a half a tire away, half a wheel away.
Brennan would have needed another 25 meters to close that gap. I mean,
Yes.
he just didn't have enough road by the time he was able to get around to be able to get enough power to get around DeLee. And look, don't take anything, like Brennan has been great all year. Do not take anything away from DeLee though in this win, because DeLee's
No.
form has been so good. And as we said, in the main show, since the Tour de France, this guy has been on absolute fire.
Yeah, seeing those two guys going head to head with a little Mayos in the mix. That to me is that's I'm as excited to watch that as I am to watch Jasper Philipsen and Tim Merlier tee off against each other. You know what I mean?
And
Um,
another case where one of these big sprinters somehow misses out on the grouping to get them in the final. It would
yeah,
have been
it's gotta be so
it would
frustrating.
be interesting to see what Phillipson would have done in that situation.
hmm hmm But I have to say, like, I hope that this is DeLee setting himself up for a 2026 that sees him get Grand Tour success.
I would love to
That's
see that.
that's what I want to see for that guy. I want to see him take down a few stage wins. I want to see him chasing a green jersey, a sprinter's jersey in a Grand Tour. Like that's the next step for him. Although either I should say either that, or I'd love to see him on a couple of podiums in the big spring races,
Hmm.
in an Amstel Gold, or a
E3
um,
Saxo Classic.
yeah, or
Yeah,
an MSR.
yeah.
You know, so awesome race. Did you catch like when he was going to the when he after the race was done and he was riding to where the interview was going to be? Did you
Mm-mm.
happen to notice that? So I don't know if he was being filmed by somebody on a motorcycle bike, because he rode probably like more than 100 meters from the finishing area to like where he needed to get to for this for the interview, and he was clearly following somebody because the camera shot was from in front of him, but he was riding his bike, like, and it was either somebody on a motorcycle or somebody running backwards really 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 fast, because he was like kind of cruising through this like backstage area past some buildings and some fenced off areas, and there's an anti-doping guy, and one of the commentators is mentioning that he just sort of mentioned, see that guy behind him, that's the anti-doping guy. He is required to keep the winner of the race within eyesight until he gets to the doping control station after the race. So that's like the protocol
Right.
or whatever. And the commentator announces it, and then you see DeLee just like trucking through this backstage area. And at one point, you're looking. I'm feeling like I'm watching a race again. I'm like, oh, let me look behind. If does the camera shot still have the doping control agent back there? Oh, he hasn't even come around the corner yet. DeLee's ahead. It was crazy. Go back and watch it. It's kind of funny. Um, yeah. Great race.
It was. It really was.
Anything else on that?
Nope, not on that one.
All
Uh,
right. Do you have more cycling stuff you want to get into?
yeah, I have a couple of news items. So Dylan Van Barl threw out a great quote this week that I absolutely loved. He was speaking on the La Vuelta protests, and This was his quote. He said, "I couldn't even imagine finishing in Madrid. We were stopped at the palace and stood there with a lot of Guardia Civil men. Suddenly, all hell broke loose at the entrance. There were people all over the sides of cars. It was like being in GTA. A strange situation." Yes. I was like, I love
He's
this quote.
he's he's
Yes.
describing Rwanda.
No, he was describing the
The
last stage
Vuelta.
of the Welta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so I loved that quote. And then the other big Dylan Van Barl news this week was he's gotten engaged to one Pauline Farah Prevost.
DVB PFP. I love
Yes,
it.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's awesome.
Um,
That's a cycling power couple,
right
and
there.
we know where most of the power lies in that couple.
Yes. All right. Quinn Simmons, speaking to Ride Magazine in an interview conducted through the Traveling Alpecin Barbershop, said, "If you look at the press conference at the tour, you never get moments where, say, Pogacar and Vingegaard challenge each other. If you look at the press conferences at the tour, you never get moments where you say, for me, sorry, I literally doubled down on that quote. Sorry. For me, it's important to be in a personality in the peloton as well. Sport is also show. We have to realize that we are entertainers in that show." So basically, what he meant to say there was that Pogacar and Vingegaard are boring, and he wants
Yeah,
more of the Sagan-esque, you know, Playboy antics, you know, in the peloton. That he wants to see some more. In what I would easily say is some more American in things,
yeah.
which is what I hear.
Here's this is the trouble. Okay, it's a good thing, but it's also has its negative consequences. The sport has risen to such a level that you have to be like a monastic, just absolute slave to your nutrition, workout, training routine. It is a 24/7, 365, fully comprehensive, all body, all equipment, all everything thing. And there's no room for showmanship anymore. You can't be that playboy guy. You can't be that guy that's like you hear stories about, being out on the town and stuff like that. Because you're not going to be competing, like
Yeah,
because
you're just not going to
they
be
won't be
competitive.
talking about you because you won't be getting results. Like it's not freaking possible. The level is so ridiculously high. Now, guys could clown around on Instagram and stuff like that. They could I don't know.
I don't know.
It would be
I feel like he's
some
asking.
mischief.
I feel like
Some
he's
mischief
asking
might
for
be
more
nice.
machismo, and it's like I don't. Man, in this world, I don't know if we need more machismo.
How about some mischief where like they take jabs at each other in social media and you can't tell if they're being serious or not.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
only
wouldn't
only
mind
they
that,
know it
but
because they're actually texting each other at the same time going, yeah, we're fucking with them. Right? I said like shit like that would be fun
yeah, that would be fun.
if they did that kind of stuff.
So, some transfer news. Q36.5 just keeps adding firepower to the roster. They signed Tom Gloag,
Ah.
domestique extraordinaire from
Hmm.
Visma, which I think really is, this is a team that's they're trying to get a pro spot. I'm telling you right now, this is a team to watch.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah. Yeah.
years 3 years from now, I'd be shocked if this team doesn't get a pro doesn't get
And
a pro.
Pidcock is the back to do it upon.
Yeah, 100%. Visma then added Davide Pignazzoli
Piganzoli.
from Pro Team Polti Visit Malta, longest name
Love it.
ever.
Yeah.
And then the big rumor this week, and it's not confirmed as of yet, but it sounds like Kevin Vokalon going to Ineos Grenadiers.
Vocalan.
And
That is a good match.
that's a
That
huge
makes a lot of
signing for
sense
them
to me.
too.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
with I think the upswing on him versus the upswing on Egan Bernal is definitely
Kevin Volkelon is the kind of guy that you can say you can throw him leadership at two or three different stage races, and then get from him domestique work
Yes.
on the at the Grand Tours with a nod towards him building
Yeah,
towards a Grand Tour because he's a young guy as well.
absolutely. So the last like racing related thing that I wanted to talk about was in the stats corner this week. We're going to do UAE's 86 wins. All right, which you know everybody can say whatever they want about UAE and how much they win and Tadej Pogacar and is it good for the sport, is it bad for the sport? But you also have to marvel at the greatness that it takes to be able to put this kind of record together. All right. So I'm gonna break this down a little bit here. All right. So I gotta turn my phone so that I can get all my notes in here. So here's all of your riders and how many wins they had. All right. This list is
I love this chart. I have so much to say about
oh,
this
all
chart that
right.
you put in here.
So Pogacar has 16 wins. Del Toro has 13 wins. Almeida has 10 wins. Ayuso has 8 wins. Jay Vine has 5 wins. All right. Eva Oliveira, Jonathan Narvaez, and Brandon McNulty each have 4. Antonio Morgado and Mark Soler each have 3. Covey, Juan Sebastian Milano, Groschartner, Tim Wellens, and Jan Christian each have 2. All right. Sivakov, Baroncini, Arietta, Micah, and Adam Yates all have 1. All right.
It's insane. Oh, wait a second. All right, hold on. One,
That's a
two,
crazy amount
three,
of
four,
riders.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's 20 different riders with wins.
All right. And if we look, their pro roster. Well, let me try to go to this real quick. Then I'll jump back. Their pro roster has on it, let's see, what is this? 6, 12, 18, 24, 29 riders. So what did you just say there? So they have out of 20,
20.
20 out of 29
Yeah.
riders on that
Two,
team
two, th- two-thirds of their team have gotten wins.
had a win this year. That's crazy. It's
No,
just
this is the kind of thing that I find mind-boggling. Okay, Morgado and Soler, they each have 3 wins. Okay, now how many other teams out there have not one but 2 riders with 3 wins? Not many,
mm-mm.
right? And on this team, the guys with 3 wins apiece, they're in seventh. They're in seventh place on this list. 2 guys with 3 wins this year.
Yes.
They're in seventh place because you got 3 guys with 4 wins, and you've got 5 guys with 5 or more wins
Yes.
in this race. Like these superlatives, they just write themselves.
Yeah.
You've got 3 guys with double-digit wins.
Yes. Now, listen to this list, okay? So, I'm just going to hit okay, these are so this next list is all of the Grand Tour GCs that they had. Okay?
Grand Tour or
Or
stage
sorry,
race?
no, not Grand Tour, but GC wins that
Stage
they had.
race.
Stage race
Yep.
GC wins.
Mm-hmm.
So they won the Santos Tour Down Under, the Tour of Oman, the UAE Tour, the Ruta del Sol, all right, Tirreno Adriatico, the Itzel Basque Country, the Vuelta a Asturias, the Tour de Romandy, the Criterium de
This is
Dauphiné,
staggering.
Ballois Belgium Tour, the Tour de Suisse, Tour de Austria, Tour de France, the Vuelta a Burgos, the Tour de Pologne, and the Tour of Luxembourg. All in the same year.
16 stage race wins.
All in the same year.
Insane. 16. I mean, that's got to be more. That's got to be at least half of all the stage race wins of the entire year, right? Has to be.
It has to be. It's insane. When you see it all together like that, you're like, holy shit. All right. So as far as stage wins are concerned in Grand Tours. All right. They won stage 7 and 17 of Giro d'Italia with Ayuso and Del Toro. Pogacar won stage 4, 7, 12, 13 of the Tour de France, and Wellens won 15. Okay. In the Vuelta, the team won the time trial. Then you have 6, 7, 10, J-Vine, Ayuso, J-Vine, 12, 13, 14, Ayuso, Almeida, Soler.
14 Grand Tour stage wins. Ridiculous.
Insane.
What a season.
This team, and get the 86th. By the way, in fitting, in my opinion, like you were kind of like, should it count earlier? But here's the thing. Considering how many stage races they won, the fact that they get their 86th win on a stage race, considering how dominant this team has been in stage racing this year, it's just fitting. It's fitting that the 86th win should be a GC.
Agreed.
All right, like
and from an American.
Yes, and from an
Fitting.
American,
Fitting.
I will take it. But hats off to UAE on putting together. And by the way, there's a solid chance that there's going to be another win before the end of the year for this team. Like
100%.
I think
they'll probably take down 3 stages at Guangxi.
And they could take, and
I would not be
Lombardia
surprised.
is very likely to end up being. Is Pogacar going to Lombardia? I assume he is. I don't know why he wouldn't.
100%.
So
yeah.
So
he's already won it like 3 times.
Yeah. So, it's not over yet.
By no means.
So, hats off to
they're gonna break
UAE.
this record by like 5.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Chapo, what a year that this team has had. I mean, we have talked about them at length.
Yeah, we've been witness to history, and it's been cool.
Yes.
Some of it sucks when Pogacar is just like a foregone conclusion, but it's fun. It's cool to be able to witness it.
All right. So what do you got?
Well, let's just finish out with like a little Maddie's movie corner here, because I've seen a few movies this past week that I would love to talk about. I'll start with Jaws at 50, the definitive inside story. Jaws is like one of the all-time great movies, totally groundbreaking. It's a one-of-a-kind, larger-than-life movie. It's got 100% practical effects in this movie. It's perfect in every way. It created the summer blockbuster that didn't exist before this movie, and it is a movie that touched millions of people in very deep and visceral ways, for so many reasons.
Because of the practical effects. It's visceral watching it. It's like a
right.
terrifying, it's a terrifying notion because, who hasn't been in the murky depths of the Atlantic Ocean where you can't see your feet, wondering what lies beneath the surface as you spend your time in the water?
Yeah. 100%. It's just it speaks to a primordial kind of fear that is in every person, and it just like hit the world at the right moment, and just became an immutable part of the zeitgeist forever. And this documentary on Hulu, very straightforward documentary, very conventional, but in the best way. Just really gets you in deep with everything about this movie, about the making of the movie, the thought process, and the actors, the scenes, the writing, the directing, everything about it. Like you will, it's a deep dive. So big recommendation. And of course, Spielberg is for sure in the conversation for top 5 directors of all time. He's one of the all-time greats.
Anyways, you got to figure, if there's a Mount Rushmore for directors, he's definitely on there. Because you definitely don't get Michael Bay without Steven Spielberg.
For sure. For sure, yeah.
I figure
the modern era.
I figure you've got probably Scorsese and Spielberg, Hitchcock, and who Who rounds out the director's Mount Rushmore?
I don't know. This is you can't put me on the spot like this. Billy Wilder. I don't freaking know.
Oof.
Regardless, he's up there in the
He's
conversation for
definitely
sure.
in
All
the
right.
conversation.
The next one I want to talk about, I just caught up with this movie Life of Chuck. Have you seen this? The
I
Life of
saw
Chuck.
something about it, but I haven't actually seen it.
I have got to say, like, this was so refreshing to have a movie like this that really, really engaged my mind. Like, this thing got its hooks into me, and I was there's a lot of mystery in this movie and unanswered questions that are very intriguing, and uh, I was just in it for the entire thing, and it's it's got a really nice mix of melancholy and hope, or melancholy and joy, I would say. um it seems very timely in a way. um it's got a non-conventional structure to it that totally just makes sense for what it's doing. It's just a very thought-provoking movie, um that doesn't give you easy answers at the end. um it has me wanting to go back and watch it again, like, very soon, just because I've been turning it over in my mind. So I'm going to give a big recommendation to The Life of Chuck. It's directed by a guy named Mike Flanagan, who I did not take the time to look up what else he's done. um, but really good. But the one that I really, really, really want to talk about here in the closing minutes is The Taste of Things, by directed by Tran An Hung, and starring Juliette Binoche and her ex-husband Benoit Magimel. So this is a movie. It came out in like late 2023. I've been wanting to see this thing for that long. Um, and I knew that I wanted to watch this movie with my wife. And I happened to notice that it was available on one of the streamers. Uh, and um, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally pull the trigger on this, and I sent her a little invitation for like an at home date night. Or no, I just put it on the calendar, at home date night, and she saw it on the calendar, and she's like, "Did you put a did you put an at home date night on the calendar?" And I was like, "I sure did." And she's like, "Oh, okay, good, good." She was all excited for it. So my plan was that we would cook dinner together, and then we would watch the movie afterwards. Um, and there was a very specific reason why I wanted to do that, as I'll get to. So um, she had sent me like some like uh, pork chop recipe like a week before that looked really, really good. So I'm like, send me the. I was like, I want to do the pork chop recipe you sent. I want to do the Ina Garden mashed potatoes, and then we'll we'll throw in. Oh, the pork chop recipe also was like with a kale salad, like a kale apple salad with it. So I was like, yeah, I just want to throw some mashed potatoes in the mix, and that'll be dinner. And she's like, yeah. So we uh we get to work cooking this meal, and, like, it comes out really, really nicely, and we sit down and have a lovely dinner with the kids, and they love all the food, and they eat every bit of everything that we make. And um it was like a nice little dinner, and then we retire downstairs to watch the movie. But beforehand, um, I had prepped up a little slideshow on my phone of, like, um, our favorite pictures from our trip to Mexico.
Hmm.
And so I had the kids come down there and watch that with us. So we went through, so the kids got to see some of our cool pictures from Mexico and got to talk to us about them. So that was nice. I cast it onto the TV downstairs from my phone.
That's really
Um,
good.
Yeah, so we flipped through a few of those pictures, and then we let them go and do their thing, and I put on this movie. And this movie, The Taste of Things, directed by Tran An Hung. Oh my God. It's Juliette Binoche and her husband are it's set in like 1885 or something like that, over in Europe somewhere. And she is the head cook for this, like, wealthy, like, French guy, part of the aristocracy or whatever. But the thing is, he's a gourmet. He loves food and cooking.
Hmm.
And so, even though all of his peers in his world, none of them spend 1 minute in the kitchen. Like, they have staffs of people in their stately manor homes that cook for them. But this guy, he he likes to do the cooking as well. So um, when the movie opens up, you're in this like 1885 French kitchen with these two people, this man and this woman, Juliette Binoche, and a guy who's actually her ex-husband in real life, um, who have reunited to make this movie about these two people that are working in this kitchen.
What
And
language is this movie in, by the way?
it's in French with subtitles.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
It's this opening set piece of a scene where they are preparing this meal is so freaking good. I cannot describe to you, and especially for somebody like you that is a cook that understands how kitchens work, that the fun that me and Mandy were having watching this was like, they're not telling you like what they're doing or doing, you know what I'm saying? They're just doing all this stuff. And we're like, oh, look, they're making bechamel. Oh, look, that's the court bouillon. See, they're putting in the carrots and like all the French cooking stuff, like they're doing it all. And it's so like authentic and it's so like gorgeous and rich and like it's just magic the way they are pulling this meal together. It starts off like the opening scene. She's outside in the garden, like actually like picking the vegetables out of the garden, and it looks like a Van Gogh painting or something like that. It is so beautiful, and she's pulling these veggies, and she comes in, and there it's like I don't know if it's her daughter or something is there, but there's also like this young girl who's like a cousin that's there that morning, and they're the daughter and the cousin are there to help them out in the kitchen to prepare this meal. And as Binoche and the husband and the guy discover this cousin girl, she's really wise about cooking. Like she they can see in her that she's like on a different level when it comes to her understanding of food. At one point, he has her taste one of the sauces that he's made or something, and he goes, "What do you taste in here?" And she's like, and she starts really thinking about it, and she rattles off like seven different things that are ingredients that she can taste in this sauce, and the guy's looking at her like, this kid's special. But then as you learn, the guy then when they start serving this meal that's being prepared, all of his rich friends come over to his house for like an afternoon meal. Well, now he's sitting down with them and he's eating the meal and being served, but Juliette Binoche is like still back in the kitchen, like making all the food come out. But it's this movie is to me, it's like in one of my it's instantly in my top three food movies. Like I love food movies. This is in my top three for sure.
All right, I'm
And
in.
openings, yeah, you've got to
Sold.
watch it. And it was on Hulu, but I realized if we watched it on Hulu, we were going to have to watch commercials. And I happened to notice when I was looking on my app that tells me where to watch stuff, that it was on Canopy, and I'm like, oh, is that the library thing? And I looked, and it is indeed, and I already have set up my Canopy account.
I
So
have one
if
as
you have a
well.
li yeah, if you have a library card and a Canopy account, you can watch it on there, and there's no commercials. So that movie, wow, it touched us deeply. We really enjoyed it.
Cool. I'm definitely gonna have to watch it for
It's
sure.
called it's called The Taste of Things. Really good. Um, Anything else?
No, that's it, man.
Well, we are right up against it. So thanks for joining us once again. We will see you next time here on Beyond the Slipstream. Until then, for my brother Justin, I'm Matt Harper. Say it with me, Justin.
Ale.
Ale. Beyond the Slipstream is a companion to the Team Bus and is produced by Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!